Good afternoon. Let me first thank Mrs. Oslam for the chair of the conference, the Food Technology Conference 2015, for organizing this conference. And it's a great honor and privilege for me to be here today and to talk to you about my recent research findings about food safety perceptions among Lebanese university students. So the title of my work is The Role of Gender and Socio-Demographics Variables on Food Safety Perceptions of Lebanese University Students. As we are all aware, unsafe food has been a human health problem since history was first recorded, and many food safety problems encountered today are not new. Although governments all over the world are doing their best to improve the safety of the food supply, the occurrence of foodborne disease remains a significant health issue in developed countries and developing countries. Despite the efforts of the governments all over the world in regard with improving the food safety awareness among the population, the WHO estimated that foodborne diseases kill about 2.2 million people annually. For instance, it is estimated that each year in the UK, million people suffer a foodborne illness. 20,000 people receive hospital treatment due to foodborne illness, and 500 deaths caused by food illness. It cost UK nearly about 1.5 billion of pounds. In Lebanon, the media have recently revealed serious safety breaches that have shocked the Lebanese population. We all know that there is no place on earth that is free of foodborne diseases. This is due to several factors, mainly lifestyle changes, consumer demands, agronomic processes, animal feeding practices, and so on. Actually, the situation in Lebanon is aggravated with the lack in the public health infrastructure, poverty, environmental degradation, contamination of food and water sources. It is now accepted that foodborne illnesses occur as a result of improper food handling and preparation of consumers in their own kitchen. Both home hygiene practices and consumers' hygiene products are being targeted to areas of risks. This being said, there are a number of factors contributing to outbreaks of foodborne illnesses, such as lack of awareness in the general public, mistakes in food manufacturing practices. This puts a renewed emphasis on the need of inadequate education and awareness campaigns among the populations, and mainly in schools and universities, where children and adults could participate actively in the transfer of information about safe food practices within the family. This is a way of engaging the population in a basic health issue. Let me present to you a general overview on the food safety situation in Lebanon. In the last 4 years, it has been detected several contamination of animal foods by dioxins and plants contaminated by pesticides, and it was in 2011. In 2013, a recall of a large quantity of spoiled meat in a region next to Beirut, the capital. And also in 2014, they detected the use of natamycin, a chemical additive in a dairy product called labne in Lebanon also. Facing these problems, what could be done at the level of education? The question that we academics must all raise is, how do universities remain sustainable in such a great and sustained chaos? Well, the objective of our work was measuring the degree of the university students' awareness in food safety, evaluating the relationship between the demographic characteristic of university students and their food safety knowledge and practices, evaluating the influence of the fields of study, gender, age, and place of residence of university students on their food safety perception. For this purpose, we've conducted at the Holy Spirit University of Kaslik, Lebanon, and mainly at the Faculty of Agriculture and Food Sciences, several surveys since 2010, and targeting different groups of people. So the last year, we worked on the UZEC, the Holy Spirit University of Kaslik students, at the main campus in Kaslik. And we've conducted a survey among 950 students, randomly chosen, aged between 18 and 25 years, scattered in different faculties of the university and therefore belonging to different fields of study. Using a questionnaire divided into 3 sections. The first sections deal with socio-demographic characteristics of the participant. The second section dealing with student food safety knowledge, and the last section is dealing with student food safety practices. Before presenting our main results, let me present to you the profile of our students, the interviewed students. We had 53.3% of female students and 46.7% of male students interviewed. 16.4% of the students majoring in fields of public health, and 83.5% of students were majoring in other fields. 82.7% of the students lived with their parents. 11% of the students are sharing rooms with colleagues. 6.1% are in another arrangements of accommodation. Our main results when asking students about how they do or what they do with the leftovers, the results show that 52% of the students cool the leftovers at the room temperature, then put them at the refrigerator. 16% refrigerate the food even when it's still hot. 13.4% give the leftovers to the animals. 11.7% throw the leftovers. 3.5% leave the leftovers until consumed, and 2.8% freeze the leftovers. This graph shows that food safety knowledge practices of the students increased proportionally with their age. Nevertheless, age was significantly associated with knowledge and practices regarding food safety. This graph shows that no significant difference between the place of residence of the students and their knowledge and practices in food safety. When presenting this table, we have compared our results with other results, and I here mention that we are lacking such studies in national and regional level. So we've compared our result only with 2 universities, one in Greece and one in Saudi Arabia. Our results were similar, almost similar with other universities in Greece, but for example in Taif, in Arabi Saudi, the scores were really higher than our scores, 77.6. The main findings of our studies are as follows. The scores of food safety perception of female students were higher than scores of male students. So we can conclude that we have significant differences between the score of both sexes on their knowledge and practices in regard with food safety. The scores of students in fields related to public health were higher than the scores of students in fields not related to public health. And the final score of the Lebanese students in regard to food safety perception was 52.2%. This reflects a real deficiency in their food safety knowledge and practices. So, as a conclusion, our results showed a low level of food safety perception of the Lebanese university students, and we can recommend interventions are needed really at the level of the education to improve their food safety knowledge and practices, as they will be, our adults will be responsible of their own families one day. To sum up, I will give some recommendations. First, the educational interventions in college and universities are proving to be a good opportunity to attract the attraction of young adults on food safety. However, the universities nowadays, or the academic programs at universities, should focus their educational campaigns on environmental health issues for their importance in promoting overall health. That's why it's useful to include in the academic curriculum courses ongoing conferences and educational sessions on food safety. Consequently, the preparation of media campaigns to promote health to specific groups is the key that ensures that message and recommendations reach the targeted population. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions?
You mentioned about the contaminations with Lebanon with natamycin or nanomycin. I think Lebanon is a milk product.
Exactly.
And I think the source of contamination coming from animal treated with nanomycin. That's true, or what the source of nanomycin in the milk?
Not mainly from treating animals with natamycin. They are adding natamycin in the product. In the labne, as you know, the product, it's a kind of yogurt. So it's a dairy product. So they added to extend the shelf life and to give more sensorial or organoleptic improvement of the texture of the product. That's why it's not recommended to use it.
This does not affect the starter culture or the microbial culture in the milk?
No.
Culture
No, it doesn't affect the microbial population, no.